We saw Dead Alive. Did you watch it on the stream when I streamed it?
I didn't watch the stream, and
Oh,
I
okay.
had to pick between two versions. One was like 140, an hour 45, and another's hour 37.
Oh, which one did you watch?
Hour 37.
Okay, yeah. So is that the Dead Alive one then, or is that the Brain Dead?
It's Dead Alive
Okay,
properly. Yeah, the
yeah.
opening is a little shorter.
Oh, so like, what do they change?
The opening isn't as detailed, and I don't know about the rest. I imagine there are probably some scenes cut from the house fight. You know.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, was it? Do they still have like where it's like the Aborigine like villagers and stuff like that attacking them and all that, like in the very beginning?
Yes. Yeah. They
They
chop the
might.
dude's hand off.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Cool. Yeah, yeah. This movie because it had been like I don't know, maybe like 10 or more years since I'd last seen it. I love it. I've always loved it, but for whatever reason, I just haven't gone back to it in years. And it's way. It's actually. I always knew it was crazy. It's actually way crazier than I remember somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like the the way I was explaining it during the movie when I was watching it on the live stream was I think of it like Evil Dead 2, it does like this thing where, it balances like comedy and horror in like a really, really like smart way, but it definitely doesn't shy from the fact of telling you this is like a hardcore horror movie. Like there's really nothing about it that falls short of like a very serious horror movie. And you watch Dead Alive and it's like that, but like it really emphasizes that this is a comedy. Like there's a lot going on in it where they could have gone the direction of Evil Dead 2 where it kind of is like towing this line where you're like that is funny but this isn't really necessarily a comedy per se. But Dead Alive, I feel like they were putting comedy almost at the forefront and then the background was like all the gore and shit.
Yeah, yeah. The whole moving chairs bit of him hiding the bodies and the bodies getting out, hiding the bodies, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole time you're like, why does he just kill them? What is the attachment to the bodies? Does he
Yeah.
try to kill them?
And I wonder if it was like one of those things where he's just like, well, I don't want to like dismember people.
My mother, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, especially his mom, yeah.
yeah. And then after she like tries to basically kill him like 3 times, he's still like, yeah, no, I need to sedate her and bring her back home. Put her in
Right.
the basement, yeah. Like
Yeah.
she's getting like she's getting social security checks still.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if it's one of those things where he like was hoping or like was holding on to hope that maybe he'd be able to bring them back or something, but it just never was like really explored in like the script because there's just too much going on.
Yeah, the whole time he just feels like he's on rails. He's like, okay, I'm on this adventure now with these weird zombies who also can get pregnant and fuck.
Right.
Yeah, but that's like I don't know. I liked all the gore. The gore. I love gory movies. This movie's real squirty. It's a 10 out
Yeah.
of 10 squirt factor for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. No,
Yeah.
I love Gorefest, and like this is kind of like a masterpiece in a way because like it has like yeah, sure. I mean, it's insane. It's like one of the bloodiest movies of all time, I think, or something.
Yeah.
And despite that, though, there is like a really great like message in the story by the end of it. Like there's like this really I mean, there's like a really good like attention to like having a story that's cohesive and like really entertaining to like watch for itself. It's not you're not like there first for the gore almost like sometimes like you're almost there just because like the movie itself is so quality.
Yeah, it's entertaining. It's as much as it is funny, it's entertaining. And I think that's like a Peter Jackson thing. Like even in Lord of the Rings during the combat scenes,
Yeah,
he made
and
sure, you know.
yeah, and I don't know how like he was so good at like keeping the pacing going with like all the horrific scenes, and then he'll like throw in like actually like a really heartwarming romantic story, then like a really like gut wrenching like mother son story, and he's just got like all these balls in the air, and then he's just like, but he's it's like perfectly balanced, and yeah, I love that.
Yeah, yeah. That's and like I think a really good way to exemplify it, not just the like maybe not the heartwarmingness, but like the extent to which he's trying to entertain people. Like,
Yeah,
well, for the heartwarming thing first, let me not dismiss that, right? Yeah, he definitely like the guy breaks up with his girlfriend to keep her safe, and that's like
yeah,
not a common thing in any film, really.
yeah,
You know, usually it's like he saves her, but in this, it's like, no, I'm gonna shirk the stereotypical masculine entitlement, and
Yeah, focus on
the
this
kind.
huge problem.
Yeah, this big problem keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
But then like the scene in the graveyard with the kung fu priest,
Yeah.
like they outdid themselves because the first scene with the fucking zombie comes out the ground and grabs the guy by the crotch,
Right.
that's like I thought that was really good. Then the kung fu priest eviscerates the one by kicking it a number of times, like a game, you know.
Yeah, and what's awesome, and I to like Peter Jackson, so he uses this priest in like one of the coolest ways anyone's ever used a character, and turned him into like a kung fu priest, and he's just kicking ass in like, well, for the Lord in like the craziest of ways. And what's awesome about it though is that instead of being like, oh yeah, we're gonna have this dude be like a big part of the movie and like he's gonna help out. I'm actually blanking on the character. What's the main character's name?
Lionel.
Lionel, right? He's gonna, yeah. Instead of like having him help out Lionel, it's like no, he's gonna be dead. He's gonna be a zombie, and so you got to see that like little fun glimpse.
Yeah, and it's like every one of these characters has a vignette type of moment where they're on display, like the fat dude eating in the beginning, kind of. But then with the priest, he turns into that zombie that gets the other zombie pregnant too, and
Yeah.
that's like further subverting the whole priest thing. It's
Oh
like first he
yeah.
knows kung fu, and now he knows like how to get zombies pregnant.
Yeah, man. And then like the zombie baby was genius.
Oh yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like almost that became like a horror staple like immediately.
In the scene where he's got it by the legs and he's beating it in a park with all the other children,
Yeah.
and the parents are just watching horrified.
It's actually funny. Like watching that recently, I was like, the parents are actually way more chill than they should be.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's like
strange.
that's not how I would parent, but okay.
Yeah, I respect his right to do what he needs for his child. He must have special needs.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
man.
bro, like you ever play The Witcher?
No, I never have actually.
In the third one, there's the Bloody Baron quest, and there's like a zombie baby, and it looks just like this one. The head does anyway. It
Oh, that's
floats.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you know who comedian Zach Amico is?
Yes, I do.
There's
His
like
head
a
is similar.
there's a heavy, yeah, but not even just an appearance. There's like a heavy Zach
Yeah,
Amico vibe throughout that character's arc.
entirely. Dude, man.
But yeah, it's like it is. I don't know how I forgot about this, but I somehow forgot about the custard scene. And when
Mm.
that popped up, I was like, "Oh, that's right. Fuck, this is gross."
That's that's when I knew it was gonna be good because I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
the squirting all over into the custard, the ear falling off, and all that. And then when he pulls the dog out of her throat, the movie
yeah,
is
dude.
just a tour de force of practical effects. And in
And what
today's era, it shines even better than it did before.
and this was played as a joke, kind of, but like it also was a great character moment when he pulls the dog out of his
Yeah,
mom's throat. His girlfriend obviously is like mortified, and like he's just like, well, she didn't eat all of them. Like
yeah,
he was like defending his mom in a sense, but also trying to make her feel better.
I love that.
Yeah.
This is like one of the best horror movies I've seen in a while. Compared to Children of the Corn, it's like much, much, much better.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely moves quicker than Children. I like Children of the Corn though. Like I
Mm,
like the first one. Like at least there's like a kind of a cohesiveness to it. Like there's it makes sense for the most part. I like
yeah,
that there's like a good religious message. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that really in a horror movie. We can talk about
yeah,
Children of the Corn a little bit, I guess. Uh
yeah.
but yeah, like where it's just like it's like pro God kind of like because like the whole thing is just like this can't be a religion, a true religion anyway, because it's not a religion based on like love and acceptance and shit like that.
Yeah, it's all persecution.
Yeah.
In that way, it's like it's good. It pairs well with Lord of the Flies. If you
Oh
watch them
yeah.
back to back. Yeah, I
Oh
love that
yeah, that
one.
would be a good double feature. I don't think I've actually seen like a Lord of the Flies movie.
It has some funny moments because it's children acting, so it's like they can only take the acting so far.
Yeah.
And when they push the rock on Piggy, I thought that was funny when I was little, but
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't have watched it when I was little.
Yeah, dude, there's a few movies like that for me. Like I would just I literally for like a year, I think every single day when I was like 7 watched Terminator 2. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, this movie rules.
It's a very good action movie.
Yeah, it is one of those movies where I'm like, I feel like that's a great, like, if you're a kid and like you can't watch rated R movies, it's like the perfect like rated R movie to start with, I think.
Yeah, there's no boobs and like by now all that stuff's PG-13.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah, like really, the craziest part of that movie might be when like the spike goes through the eye, or when the blade goes through the mouth of the husband of John Connor's stepmom.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I think
yeah,
that's yeah. I like the smelting scene if it was a body, but it's not. Or is
the
it the
what?
first one? Is it the first one where they smelt him? They put him inside the.
Oh, I think that is the first one.
Yeah, I'm tripping.
First one, they probably should wait a little bit.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, the
the
first one's
movie.
pretty rough.
The movie's like scary. I was scared of it when I was little.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, it was cool because I just saw a thing recently, like when like the Terminator's on top of the car. I think they're going. Oh no, yeah, they're like driving on the road, and then like they're next to like this brick house or something like that, and like the Terminator like punches a hole through the window to like get to Sarah. I guess the way they did that, and like you can see it in like Arnold's face, they put like a metal like uh ram or something like on his arm, and then he just like punched through it. You can see him
Hmm.
like closing his eyes super tight and like looking away. He's like, fuck.
Poor guy. He's
Yeah.
like he's one of the. That was a different era. Like you had to throw your body at the thing or throw your crafts work like in Dead Alive because it's all practical. You
Yeah.
know, they
Yeah.
appreciate that. The
I do
actors
too.
and
I do.
Mhm.
I appreciate that too. And like the one thing I really liked about that I was like, why don't they do this more in movies today? Where like you remember at the zoo where like the rat is like I think eating another rat or something like that. I was looking at the claymation of that. I was like, how cool would it be if there was like you just did things like that where it's like, okay, you have regular people here, and here's like just a claymation fucking monster doing something insane. Like there's really it wouldn't take you out of the movie.
it's a monster. It's supposed
Yeah.
to look monstrous. It looks more monstrous when it's real, not when it's sanitized.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the thing about about CG that I noticed, like I noticed a lot more when like the Transformers movies were coming out
Yeah.
was is like there's a weightlessness to CG that I don't like. Like there's this thing where yeah, sure, it's like these gigantic robots who are slamming into each other, but there's no real impactful vibe. Like there's no feeling that's impactful when I look at it.
You
It, ju-
can't.
it
Yeah. There's no coefficient to your experience. There's no like you can look at it and compare it to something you witnessed in real life.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like if they did that with like a claymation thing, there would be like a more of a gravitas to it. Like there would be like something to it that it would feel like that's almost like more of a real thing than like the thing I'm looking at in Transformers.
I think about this a lot with like culture, like arbitration of meaning, and like the claymation is 1 degree of arbitration away from reality, but CG is like 2 or 3 in some cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
And
also,
no, go
mhm.
ahead.
I also noticed what you were talking about that phenomenon about when Transformers came out. Like I saw Transformers. It was the first time I fell asleep in a theater watching a movie,
Oh.
and
Oh,
ever since
really?
then, because of that weightlessness thing, I fell asleep during Cloverfield. I fell asleep through many films, Man of Steel, and to this day, when there's a lot of CG, I fall asleep.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It is boring. It really is like just boring to look at it because like I don't know, man. It already almost feels outdated when I'm looking at it.
It's like the pizzazz of it's gone. When it's incorporated and you don't notice it, it's good. When it's everything there is, unless it's a really well done sequence, I'm not into it.
So I haven't seen like the new Planet of the Apes movies. I hear they're really
Mm,
good.
yeah.
The first one I just saw a scene of it recently, and I was like, was this made in like 2003? And then I looked into it, and I was like, oh, this is that Planet of the Apes movie, and it came out in
Oh,
2011. And I was like, this looks like shit, dude. This looks so bad. Like, but I'm
like
sure it's a good movie.
the one with James Franco?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that's a good movie, but yeah, it uses mocap and like that's a little different. So the new ones look really good for mocap and like you can tell when it's mocap.
Oh shit, dude, you cut out.
Sorry, my
Uh,
browser closed, but
Oh, okay.
You can tell when it's mocap dudes or when it's just CG because of the weightlessness type of thing you're mentioning, the tangibility aspect of it. The
Yeah.
new ones are pretty good though. You gotta admit.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I would love to. I love the Planet of the Apes. Like, I love that series, so I would really like to like the new ones. It was just like, yeah, when I saw that, I was like, fuck, dude. Like, this is a good example of like how badly this stuff ages versus like how you would do things like back in the day, because it's not even like 20 years out, and it's like it looks like absolute dog shit.
Yeah, you can go watch the original Planet of the Apes and still enjoy it.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's actually a Thanksgiving tradition of mine is watching like at least the first Planet of the Apes, and then I might watch like the one where like they get, I think they time travel or something, and they have like a baby, and there's like
Mm.
the Congress who's like trying to like figure out what the fuck they're gonna do with these apes.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's
But
a good one.
it sounds yeah,
It
it
is
sounds
weird
cool.
because it's just, yeah, it's just like these two apes and then like their ape baby, and like they're just like sitting in front of Congress every few scenes, and it's like, okay, this is interesting.
Like ape UN. Are there different types of apes?
Well, yeah, well, no. So this is like they go to a place where it's actually the people are running everything again. So
Oh.
they either like dimension hop or something. I forgot the specifics, but yeah, they so they're just surrounded by people, and the people are like, "What the fuck are these ape people?"
I mean, I watched this one movie that reminded me of Planet of the Apes a long time ago. I can't recall Planet of the Apes well because I haven't watched the originals in forever.
Yeah.
But it was like this astronaut and this alien are in a war, and they land on a planet together, and then they have a child, and like the alien dies, and like first they hate each other and all that. They have to work together to survive. And the alien and then fall in love, and he has sex with the alien and has a child with it. And then the alien dies, and he has to raise the child. But it's never clear what the alien's gender is because it acts like a dude. It was like very progressive for its time.
That does sound cool though, like as a concept.
It's way
Depending, I
out
guess,
there.
yeah, depending on like I guess where the movie goes, but like, but that is interesting. Where it's, it's like two alien, is it two aliens, right, of different
It's a
species?
human and an alien.
Oh, a human and alien, and yeah, and then like they hate each other at first, and then like grow to love each other. It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it's well done. It's like Oryx and Crake, but the opposite, kind of.
It's like what?
This is like what's her name? Margaret Atwood book called Oryx and Crake. It's like
Oh,
aliens. They hate each other, and the one of them keeps the other one alive just to hate it and
okay.
torture it. Yeah, it's like a metaphor for being a woman or something like that. I don't know. Margaret Atwood rocks. She also wrote what's it that thing on Hulu where they look like nuns. What's it called?
Oh, The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah. I never did watch that.
Oh no, Oryx and Crake was Octavia Butler. I'm tripping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a contemporary of Margaret Atwood. Yeah, dude, college still sticks with me sometimes, and at least when it's lit, you know.
Oh yeah, but dude, it is crazy thinking about like watching Dead Alive, and I think this point's been
Mm,
made a lot, but where you're like, man, this dude, like they watch this movie and then maybe like a drama he did after it, and then they were like, yeah, we're gonna give him Lord of the Rings.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the technical mastery of this film in terms of managing a budget. It was
Oh
$3 million. It was his biggest budget film at the time, but it's also like, look what you did with that 3 million. You got a
yeah,
lot done, dude.
yeah. I mean, like today that'd be like 12 million, which is still like nothing.
I mean, they throw money at what Rings of Power, and it's not even as good as
No,
those movies.
dude, it's so funny. Like, like I think Amazon even posted a thing that was just like, "Hey, we hear ya. Season 2 is going to be way different. Don't worry, guys." And it's just like, you guys are just admitting that you made complete shit.
Too many people have jobs on the basis of committee and not individual decision making. Art is not a committee thing, you know. And
Yeah.
this film is an example of why.
Yeah, yeah. And like, but it's funny because like supposedly on the writer's staff they had a Tolkien historian. And I'm like, I doubt it. I like
And
severely doubt it.
they paid them the consulting fee, and they're a professor who's broke except for when they write books and do
Right.
like big research. So they're like, yeah, dude, give me that money.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I also have to follow DEI practices, so we're gonna change absolutely everything about this.
Yeah, I want to make sure my next book gets published.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I had a professor who was like a scholar of Tolkien, Shakespeare, Milton, and like the surrounding mythology Tolkien interfaced with. And like, I remember he said he liked the movies, but he would never want the movies made because commercialism would rape the property. And sure enough, you know.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, and like it just sucks that the ones that got it were like because didn't weren't wasn't Amazon the ones who like were gonna do a Dark Tower book or a Dark Tower series too?
I think it was HBO,
Oh,
and
really?
then they did a movie instead. Yeah, and the movie
Oh,
flopped. It had Idris Elba as Roland, which was pretty cool idea because it's like if you're gonna
I
do that, he's the best choice. You know.
yeah. The thing, so like I've read the books. I really like the books. Like they're great. And
Same.
yeah, and like the one thing I didn't like about the Idris Elba casting choice because otherwise I thought it was perfect. It was that you remember like in Drawing of the Three, it'd be like Odetta would like just be like this white honky ass motherfucker, or
That's
like
where I
she,
learned that. I
yeah,
learned that
exactly,
word there.
yeah, me too. And it's just like all of that whole racial like tension thing is
Yeah,
completely
dude.
gone, and it's like it'd be funny though if they race swapped her and she's just white, but she thinks she's black and thinks Idris is white.
He calls me the N word. We're being progressive. I had like first of all, let me address that. Like, yes, that character is one of my favorite characters in the book because she's racist for like two books. She
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
rid of it in the train one with the ghost train or whatever, but
yeah.
at least I think so.
Blaine rules. Yeah, Blaine was so awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
But
that's
like,
actually that's one of the only reasons I even care if the series like succeeds. I'm like I just want like get like some Blaine scenes. I just want to watch some Blaine scenes.
that would be amazing. It'd be like the Final Fantasy VII train, but like 10 times
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. And I love that the whole way that they beat Blaine was with jokes. It was just
Hmm.
like jokes are just stupid riddles and he's not going to be able to like even comprehend what's going on.
I remember that scene now that you mentioned it. I wouldn't be able to recall it myself, but yeah, that always stunned me and it made me think about like, oh, jokes are important, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And it's actually the only time where I was like, "Oh, you're right. Jokes kind of are just like riddles, but just kind of retarded."
Yeah, dude. Exactly. I had a bit a while ago where it was like Roots, like if they rebooted Roots,
Yeah.
but they're like, okay, well, we want to be, inclusive, so we're gonna race swap everybody so that the white people are slaves this time around. But also then it's like, oh shit, like the white people don't look like actual slaves, so then everyone has to do whiteface and blackface respectively.
So it's just yeah, it almost doesn't matter.
Exactly. That would be like you can hope for it, you know? I found some footage recently of Robert Downey Jr. doing the doing Terrence Howard impression kind of thing, like like conspiracy dude as the character from what's it, Tropic Thunder.
Oh yeah.
He's like drawing on some guy's back like a bunch of diagrams. Yeah,
Dude,
that's as close as I can get.
dude, did you ever have you ever seen Glass Onion?
Yes,
Oh, okay. I was gonna say we should do one on that. I love that movie. I've watched it a few times recently, so maybe not like super soon, but
it's an Agatha Christie story. She has great stories. They're always,
that one's an Agatha Christie story.
I believe so. It was based on one, or maybe that was the one before it. The something
Knives
night.
Out.
That's an Agatha Christie story. Yeah,
Oh damn, I had no idea. I always thought that was a Rian Johnson original. Damn, that kind of
yeah.
takes away a little bit.
I mean, her stories are good though. She's got like so many British TV shows.
Yeah, yeah. And then that Kenneth Branagh, is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's her.
he's made like I guess like 3 or 4 of like these Agatha Christie movies where he's playing like the same detective character in it every time.
Yes.
And from what I understand, I haven't seen any of them, but from what I understand, they're all dog shit, and that sucks because I'm like he keeps making them. He obviously loves it, and then every single time I see reviews for it, people are like, "This is really boring."
I think he makes it for a captive audience. There's a lot of people that fell into it who are now like in their oldest years. My mom like loves Agatha Christie, but she watched all the shit that was on TV in the 90s and 2000s.
Have you seen any of those movies?
I have not seen those. I saw the one where they're on the boat and something about a boat and there's a
Oh
murder on the
yeah.
boat. Forget.
Yeah, I
It,
just want to I just want to know like if they're good or not. Like because I keep seeing people being like it's almost like a paint by numbers kind of deal, and I'm like, okay, well, I
yes,
don't know.
the boat
Yeah,
one was mid. You look at the casting choices. It's not like there's a star carrying it. It's like okay, it's an ensemble story, and you just need to be able to say the line and look like a detective.
yeah,
Yeah. She's
but
got like what's it the one with damn, what's the guy's name? The guy that plays Bond.
uh oh, Daniel Craig.
Yeah, yeah. Those ones are good.
Yeah, yeah, the Rian Johnson flicks. Yeah, those are I love them. Like it was like I had watched Glass Onion and then I went back to Knives Out afterwards, and I like Knives Out's pretty good, but Glass Onion I thought like kind of kills it.
Yeah, we should do a comparison of those two. That would be
Yeah, that'd
interesting.
be cool. Yeah, dude, Chris Evans' character in Knives Out is awesome.
I love his character. It's a
Yeah.
different take on like his acting that I've seen in other films too.
Yeah, it's kind of like because like before he like was Captain America and stuff like that, you would see Chris Evans sometimes as like a smart ass kind of character who would pop up in things, but this was like kind of like a darker version of that.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Yeah,
the turn, and then he's like, oh shit, he's been doing evil things.
yeah,
I
exactly.
love that.
Yeah, yeah, that's some good shit. And then like because the way and like maybe this is just because maybe it's borrowed from Agatha Christie. I don't know if Glass Onion was original or not, but the way
Mm.
that Rian Johnson like stalks and like builds that mystery is awesome because it's like he shows everything that's going on this island like and through one kind of like one perspective or a couple perspectives, and then the second half of the movie is pretty much everything that's going on at that same exact time but through different people's perspectives, and it just kind of like builds into like this absolutely bonkers story.
It's very active and it involves the viewer. It begs inspection, and that's like a critical aspect of films that are good. You have to
Yeah,
want. It's like a good joke. Like it leaves room for you to infer an implied punch line or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah, kind of like yeah, leave something to your imagination a little bit.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But to bring it back around to Dead Alive, let's talk about Dead Alive as a case for films without sequels. You
Oh
know?
yeah. Yeah, because it really it was kind of like open and shut. Like you got the full narrative, but not only that, there was luckily there wasn't. And I'm not sure if it's because of rights, because of it being made in like New Zealand or something. I don't know,
Mm.
but there wasn't anyone who was just like, oh, here's something that's completely separate but has similar story aspects, so we're gonna call it Dead Alive 2. Yo,
Oh,
hey there.
sorry. Yeah, sorry. It wasn't
That's okay.
abused like so many horror films get. Like, I think Dog Soldiers got a sequel and it was terrible, so I didn't watch it. But
Oh
Dog Soldiers
man,
was another one where it's like very good practical effects, like Dead Alive.
yeah, Dead Dog Soldiers is pretty sweet. I actually watched that in recent years for the first time.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's a good flick. And I like that. It's just like this like military team trying to stay alive, killing werewolves in like a was it like a cabin or something?
Yeah, and then there's like a sword at the end, which is just like they threw it in there. It's like the dude has a sword on the mantle or something, and it's like silver somehow.
Oh, so like about the practical effects though, like with Dead Alive, like the not only like were the practical effects good, it was like I don't I mean maybe I would think about something like this, but I don't know. This was really unique. Peter Jackson was like, I'm
Mm.
gonna make a fucking gastric or a gastral organ a character. Yeah, I'm gonna make like this colon like this like star of like this scene.
Yeah, and it kept like going up and down and like all of that. And you imagine the process that led you there must have been funny. And the
Yeah.
process of handling those things and making them must have made you have more insight into, I guess, how to make the story funnier or good or engaging.
Yeah, and I wonder if
Yeah.
Peter Jackson at one point, when writing the script, was like, "Okay, so here's some of the rules of these zombies. Like
Yeah.
when they come back, everything's alive. Like absolutely everything in their body's alive."
You chop it off, it comes alive.
Yeah,
The head and the priest when it bites him.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was yeah.
exactly.
I like that.
Dude. And then like the uncle scene is like maybe one of the most despicable characters in a movie. Like he's at least like in a top list.
Yeah, dude, his name is Les, and it's like, you ever seen the Big Les show on YouTube?
Nah.
I want to shout out that. You should see that. It's very funny.
Okay.
But yeah, Big Les is like he drinks, he smokes, he's a womanizer and all that. Fits the uncle stereotype in this film very well.
Yeah, dude. Like it's crazy because
in.
like there's like the tension's really high at one point during that house scene because like there's Lionel who's like trapped in the basement or getting thrown in the basement or something, and then while that's happening, Les or whatever is like pulling his girlfriend to go rape her.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not even treated as a big of a deal.
No, yeah.
Just
Well,
like,
dude,
oh, she. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, she just like pushes him off, and then she's like, okay. And then he gets eaten. And
Yeah.
it takes care of itself.
And like the crazy thing to me about that whole sequence is like if you listen to the music, dude, the music is so weird for that scene. Like it's like dancing waltz music or something. Like there, I don't, yeah, like it's just there's something about it that's just very. It works really well, but it's very off-putting and strange. And like it really was weird during that scene because like it still kept everything light while all of that was going on.
During the graping scene, yes, but I think during all the rest of the zombie stuff, it's good because it's like there's chaos, and then there's the organized chaos of instrumental, like dancing music, you know, and that always does well in like a big set piece scene. I usually find.
Yeah, and it's like having like the grand like finale be like him revving up a lawnmower is just like amazing.
Oh, I love that part.
Yeah.
Just chopping everyone up. That's what got me to see this movie the first time, actually.
Me too. It was actually like what got my. So I was watching it out in the living room one day, like many years ago, and my brother comes out, and that was like the moment where he was just like, "Yeah, I'm never watching this movie. This is this is absolutely disgusting."
That's what's good about it. Though. It's not real. It's not disgusting.
See, that's what that's my perspective on it. I always look at like horror movies as almost like art projects, where it's just like this is just like a fun thing that they put together, and yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it. But like, there's just some people where they look at that and they're just like, nope, it's blood, and because I know it's blood, then it ruins it for me.
It's like wrestling, you know. At least older horror films. Older horror films are like wrestling, and the new ones are like reality TV. I think.
Yeah, dude. That's why I'm like trying to keep a watchful eye on like what my nephew watches because he's told me that he'll like watch a horror movie on YouTube. And he told me he watched like you remember that one where it's like the blind dude?
Wait, which one?
It's like the blind dude and those people are trying to rob him, but he's like a master of like senses or something. He can like smell them and like hear them and shit.
No, I gotta see this though. It sounds fun.
It's supposed to be really good. And but like from what I understand, there's like crazy fucking like body horror in it, like at a certain point. And I was like, bro, no, you just watch like, I don't know, like Nightmare on Elm Street or like not even that, maybe. I don't know. But
nothing obscure. Yeah, just keep it mainstream.
Yeah, don't like watch Saw right now. Don't watch like anything like that. Like yeah, just do something where it's chill and like there's claymation.
Yeah. Yeah, go watch Coraline.
Yeah.
Saw 2 is my favorite one of that whole series.
Saw 2 did rule.
Because like the needle scene, every time I watch that, she drops in that needle thing. And then I watched I had the DVD and it had the behind the scenes features. And they showed you how they did the needle scene. That always stuck in my mind.
That's cool. Yeah. They I heard like the last one that just came out like somewhat recently, maybe last Halloween, it's supposed to be like really good. Like it's supposed to be like a really good movie.
Yeah, I heard good reviews about that one and the one before it. It's interesting. Like these franchises get pimped out to the point where people don't care, I guess, who runs it, and then good people end up running it.
Yeah,
it seems like that for a lot of them.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is going to be like a finale or something, but that's cool if it is because then it's like it goes out on like a really like high note. It's kind of like how the Nightmare on Elm Street series kind of did, where it's like, well, if you don't count Freddy vs. Jason or something, which is still fun, it's still a fun movie, but
exactly, it's fun.
But like New Nightmare though, like if you consider that like the final one, like they really turned it all around, where it's just like they have like the first one that's really good, the third one that's really good, and then like the last entry in it is at least like a really competent like horror movie.
Yeah, I appreciate that when people at least know they're being set out to pasture as the director of something, so they're like, okay, I need to, make my mark, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
really knocking it out of the park where like it ends it, ends the legacy on a good note.
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, Freddy vs. Jason is fun. And that was another one. My nephew was like, "Yeah, I watched Freddy vs. Jason." I was like, "That's more acceptable."
Yeah, it's that and Alien vs Predator. He watches those back to back 'cause they came out around each other.
Oh
He'll
yeah, that's
have he'll
right.
have a moment. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
dude.
remember.
I remember I went to go see Freddy vs. Jason in theaters, and I think this was everyone's reaction when watching it. It's just it's such a cop out because you're like you go into this movie and you're like, I really would like to see what Hollywood thinks would happen like during this showdown. Who would actually win out? And then at the very end, it's just like Freddy winks, so he's not like completely gone, and it's just like, okay, I don't know, like what are you guys doing here?
Answer. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like I
Yeah,
sat through this whole film and now it didn't matter.
yeah,
And like
yeah,
at the same time, he doesn't use any of his cool powers. He doesn't go in his mind really and mess with him like a lot. It's
yeah.
just not It didn't feel like they went to the full extent of Freddy. And Jason's just like a buff dude who just chops you up.
And I almost feel like it was a bad matchup because of that very reason. Because I feel
Indeed.
like I don't know if Jason even sleeps. Like so it's like one of those things. Like and so I don't even so it would have been better, I think, if it was Michael Myers or even like Chucky would have been funny. Like that would have been really fun. Now I'm thinking about it.
Chucky would have been great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's just Chucky who's like the loud mouth, and then Jason who's the no mouth, and then you just have it. There's like this perfect battle.
The size differential too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have like Jason throwing him around, and then like Chucky doing sneaky shit.
Yeah, you could have thrown Warwick Davis a bone.
Yeah, yeah,
I
dude.
love him.
Yeah, Warwick Davis rules.
But let's think about this for a second. So, does Jason sleep? In between each movie, he's doing something. But is he asleep? Because like in Jason X, they freeze him.
in my,
And
I'll
when they
say
cool
this:
him down, he opens up.
in my heart, I believe that Jason's just always killing.
All those unsolved murders.
Yeah, yeah. There's not actually. The world is really peaceful. It's just Jason. Jason's just going out there and like murdering everyone.
There's conspiracy to keep it quiet, man.
Turns out Jason's a CIA asset.
Yeah, right. Like they drop them in war zones and shit.
Yeah.
Chops up people.
I actually don't even hate that as a concept as a movie idea.
At this point, I don't hate anything like that as a concept, as long as it's entertaining.
Yeah, where it's just like we have like this insane psychopathic undead killer, and then like he just gets unchained from the military and starts going wild on a base.
I think it would be a great movie if like you just drop zombies on your enemy and they die in a couple days and they're supposed to propagate at a certain rate. And then like they kill the enemy and then like I don't know, you gotta nuke them to kill them at the end or something. They kill all your own soldiers too.
I wouldn't mind a movie where it ends like have you ever played Fallout 3?
Yeah.
You remember
Love
like
that game.
how Megaton, like you have like the choice to blow it up or like save it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great if like there was a movie that ended where just like the town was so insufferable, but by the end of it they're like, yeah, we got to nuke Megaton.
Yeah. And the end it's got tons of gore.
Yeah.
So many movies they lack the silliness of films like that Alive or Friday the 13th in terms
Yeah.
of how the gore is applied. Now it's all very visceral and realistic. Like I watched The Nun and The Nun 2.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I watched the first Conjuring in theaters, and I walked out hearing people being like, "Oh my god, that was like so scary and so good." And dude, it just didn't hit me. Like I didn't there was nothing about it that really scared me. And like it was like the same effect I had with The Grudge when walking out of the theater. I kept hearing people being like, "This is so scary." I'm like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
I think they just I don't know what it is. They need to decalcify their pineal gland.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
they get lulled into that sense of like comfort with the story. And
yeah,
then boom, the fucking jump scare, and it's like, dude,
the jump
scare.
scares were, yeah, I agree. I'm 100% with you on that. I think the jump scare is it's cheap. Like
Mhm.
it's very cheap, and like I like it when it happens like sporadically and it's real sporadic. Say like 2 jump scares in a movie is fine for me, but like when you're
Yeah.
doing something where it's like that is the basis of why people are supposed to be scared of this movie, it's it really loses me. Um, in regard to the practical effects thing, or like how blood is applied to movies now, I
Mm.
blame Eli Roth, I think,
Mm.
because as soon as Hostel came out, that seems to be when things really kicked off in that direction.
That is a very fair point. I remember the influence of that film.
Yeah.
It's almost an explicitly informed Saw.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, Saw and that movie, I think definitely were like the big pushing forces for that.
And that's why I like the second one so much, because it's a very ridiculous film in terms of the tortures and stuff.
I don't remember too much about it. I do remember liking it a lot. I remember Donnie Wahlberg, I think, being like a cop in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do remember it being a good. I don't watch the Saw movies very much, specifically for the reason that we're talking about, where it's just I just don't like a lot of that realistic shit unless it's like done like
Mm.
really well in like a Japanese horror movie or something.
And even then,
Yeah,
it's not as
sounds fun.
extreme as like it is out of the West. They don't make as much noise. I think
Yeah,
of like the guts and all that and slicing.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, where they're really going to. Yeah, it reminds me. So I used to not. Did you ever see Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2,
The first one,
the second one?
or I mean the original.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I used to not like it quite a bit, and the reason was it was like I loved everything about it except for I forgot her name, but the chick who's like the DJ in it.
Mm.
She is, and now that I understand what they're going for, I like it. But she is screaming almost every single moment she's on screen, and it used to drive me fucking crazy, dude. And like, but
Yeah.
then like the more I watched the movie, I was like, oh, this feels like it's like a parody almost of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre a little bit. And then like the more and more that sat with me, I was like, oh, so she's like actually almost like a parody of Final Girls. So I was like, oh
Yeah,
no, this makes perfect sense.
that's funny. Actually, yeah. I want to rewatch that now and look for that. That's
Yeah,
very
dude.
funny.
It's crazy. Like it completely changed the movie for me. I was like, oh no, I love this now. This is great.
I like that about in terms of like the characters who are self parodies. Independence Day, all of the characters seem to be like that.
I got to rewatch Independence Day. It's been a long. I don't even think I've rewatched it as like an adult.
Dude, that'd be one to talk about because like
I would love to.
I have a whole theory about it where it's like it's a satire and it's pretending to be an action movie, but like I don't
Oh
know how
man.
common that is.
Well, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, there are some, there are at least some characters that are very, very outlandish. Because like
Oh
you
yeah,
have like Randy Quaid's character, obviously, who's
love
like,
him.
yeah,
He's
he's great.
the goat.
Yeah, yeah, saves the world, and he's just like this hillbilly farmer dude who's out of his mind.
Who learns to fly a jet like
Yeah, like nothing.
after flying a crop duster?
Yeah, yeah. And then you have like the very, very overly Jewish Judd Hirsch, I think is his name, playing the dad of Jeff Goldblum's character.
There's so many good Jewish quotes from him in that movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you had like regular Jew culture, then you had gay Jew culture with the David guy, which I forgot his name.
Exactly. It's like it's like a best of stereotypes film from the movies of like the last 10 years before it.
Yeah. Did you ever see the second one? I never checked it out.
Independence Day 2?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
It's like what is it? It's like Resurgence, I think is what it's called or something. I don't know. I don't know why you even make a sequel without Will Smith. I get why they didn't. I think that might have been, I don't know if that was made actually after the slap or not.
I
Um
mean, the idea of it though, it's like it's Independence Day, not Independence Days.
right, right.
It's a singular name, and now you've reduced it because you've made a point of comparison after it. Like,
That's
man, why you got to shit on art?
that is true because it's like because it's like
Even if it's Independence Day, it's still art. Like,
but yeah, because you're right, because it's if we had like another big thing like that was the same exact context of like our Independence Day, it would kind of cheapen it a little bit. Unless we just had
exactly.
unless we were just doubling up on that one day.
Yeah, it's like actually No, the Earth moved half as fast that day because of the aliens or something.
Yeah,
That would be if they did it in the 70s. That's what they would say.
and like I really I'm kind of curious though, because like, okay, if it is Independence Day too, does that mean then there was another alien invasion on literally the exact day that it happened like 30 years ago?
I guarantee you, there is a scene with expository subtitled dialogue where the aliens are like, "We will get our revenge.
that
We will remind them."
that would suck so hard if they like made the aliens talk a lot in this one.
Yeah, and they have like one scene of talking. Yeah, and the whole thing. It's in the the lab and stuff.
Yeah,
That
no,
scene is great, man. That's
that's
such a
actually
parody.
that's actually what made me think that that movie was so effective as a kid, because it's like it made the aliens scary, like because they don't
Yeah.
really have any sort of communications with the humans. They're just kind of fucking shit up like whenever they pop up.
I like that about them, and that they even like you see the small dude and like that it's a small alien, and you think like, oh, in that scene they're gonna overcome these small little aliens. It's like, nah, dog.
Yeah,
He gets
yeah.
back in his armor and fucked everybody up. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is sick. And it is funny because like you know how like some, and this is going into like conspiracy territory, but like you know how like some people say that like a lot of movies, especially like in sci-fi and things along those lines, it's like the CIA trying to like assimilate people into like thinking
I
about
am
what
some
could.
people, dude. It's
Yeah.
called what's it called? Slow drip disclosure, or what's the other one? It's a conditioning, but uh it's like conditioning for the future, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just like, so don't freak out too bad because you were kind of already prepared for this subconsciously. So it would be interesting if like all these aliens that they keep talking about, if they're real and all that, like they're just like in these like little tiny mech bodies or something, or if they are robots. I've heard that theory where like they're actually just like, if it. Some people are saying that like if these aliens did make it to Earth, that it would have to be that they sent like robot like drone slaves here, and like they're like basically scouting things out while they're monitoring from space, which that is a cool idea.
I'm balls deep in the UFO UAP space, man. Let
Oh,
me
are
tell
you?
you.
Well,
Oh yeah.
I got about 10 minutes, but
Yeah,
what do you.
right. Like, yeah. I mean, it's supposedly the grays or whatever, those the ones that everyone says they see. They're like clones with an AI inside of them. Supposedly they serve like a source intelligence or something.
Oh, okay, so it's like part biotic, part robotic.
Well, yeah, they don't have it. All the so there's a bunch of declassified records that people don't like to talk about too loudly, but like I do because no one listens.
Oh, I've
So
read a lot of these actually.
yeah, and it's like they don't have any body organs, they don't have any reproductive organs. No one knows how they survive. They have metal implants, which means they probably feed off some type of ambient energy, and it's like it's wild.
Dude, did you ever read the one? I don't remember if it was FBI or CIA, but it was one of those leaked things that was just like, so we're in contact with this one species. They're interdimensional. They live on Earth, but not on Earth. Like they're in like
Yeah,
a plane of existence. And like they're, when they do materialize though, they're human like, but they're about 9 feet tall. They don't mean any harm to us. They want to live amongst us in peace, but we're keeping our eye on them.
yeah, I've read that one, and during the Grush hearings, if you watch the back of the room, there's this dude. He looks like this dude who was in another UAP UFO thing, and he doesn't look like a human being. He looks very tall. He's wearing a black suit, and he's looks like plastic. You know what I mean?
Damn, dude, could you send me a link to that after this?
Yeah, I'll go look for it.
Okay.
I'm way into this shit, man, because I think the stakes of it are pretty significant in a world where we understand global warming. Despite the
Yeah.
whatever the cause of global warming may be, right?
Yeah.
Any open free energy technology would solve our problems, and
Yeah,
it would solve poverty and all that.
I am very yeah, you know, one thing that like has really fucked me up is like people, I'll hear like, I'll read like articles from like science, some science journal or something that's like oh, there's this meteorite or asteroid in space that's like kind of within range that if we were to mine it, we would never have to worry about like money ever again, because it just has like
Yeah,
quadrillions upon quadrillions of dollars worth of like resources on it.
it's
And it's just
dense.
like,
Yeah.
god damn, dude, we need a president who's like space first and like is just gonna like go up there and fucking mine that shit,
Dude, that'd be a good platform to run on. Space
right?
Force, man. Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm gonna start telling people that. And I
Yeah.
don't care who it is. I'll just tell them until someone does it.
Yeah, because it's like if that could really solve everyone's problems, you might as well just go all in on the Space Force and then just try to fucking bring home that bag.
Yeah, I mean, China and Russia are doing their own space thing now. China's on the moon now. They're trying to go back to the moon next year, 2026, I think. We're going back
Whoa.
27.
So
And then,
China so China was the first country to make it to the moon, huh?
no, they're going back though. Oh, no, we got there. I mean, I believe we went there.
I do too.
I don't believe we saw everything that was there.
Yeah, no, here's my theory, and I
Dark
think
side of the moon, man.
yeah, for sure. My theory
People don't
though,
even know that. Like people don't even know that the moon doesn't rotate.
yeah, I know. Well, yeah, because it's like it's a stable satellite basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like but yeah, I have this theory though, and it's not my theory, but like it's a theory I agree with.
Hmm.
Where I think though we went to the moon, and I think we did bring film, and I think they realized that you can't actually film very well in space. Like I think because of like maybe light exposure or something, or I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But I think that we went there, and I think that maybe Stanley Kubrick had some involvement potentially too in like creating footage in a studio to show people that we actually did go there. I think it's a combination of the two conspiracies, or not the two conspiracies, but the one conspiracy and then like the one truth where we did actually go to the moon.
I agree wholeheartedly. There's radio recordings of the whole thing. They broadcast it. It's
Yeah.
like, and you could watch the rocket take off. You could monitor it in the night sky. People did that. There's counts of people doing that. And yeah, it's like how you think it's going to stand up to the solar radiation of the moon. You didn't have an EVA suit for the camera, which was only
Yeah.
film, like you said, not digital.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So it's just so that just makes too much sense to me. And then but even if you bring that up, people are like, oh, that's fucking batshit crazy. It's just like, how is that crazy? How is
It's not simple. That's why.
yeah.
It's like I listened to Tim Dillon today. He was talking about the Trump assassination conspiracy, and he was like, "It's conspiracies are real, and it's like sometimes they're real because it's a competition for power. Sometimes they're real because the situation requires it."
Yeah.
You know?
And like I keep hearing people talking about how like if that was true, you can't keep thousands of people like quiet about like this huge secret. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true. I actually don't know if that's true because it's like I would keep my mouth shut 100% if they were just like, we're gonna like torture and kill you and your family if you say anything.
And also, we're gonna pay for your health care and your pension and give you a couple $100,000 a year to work for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, as long as you don't, yeah, I mean, it won't ruin your life if you say anything. That's like
Yeah,
the only,
just
yeah.
go home, go to sleep, wake up, come to work, then retire.
You telling me that they couldn't have found like 3,000 people who would agree with that?
Dude, everyone will make a deal with the devil. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
exactly. Yeah,
Like, this is America. That's the whole point.
yeah.
Like, serve profit, worship a graven idol, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
But yeah, so it's like, yeah, so whenever I hear that, I'm just like, I don't know. It's just it's almost more absurd to just close that off. But I do get it to an extent where it's just like you will go down a certain path, like almost like an Eddie Bravo level of craziness,
Hmm.
where it's just like suddenly anything is absolutely possible.
Dude, I went to a pizzeria for Pi Day, okay?
Yeah.
And I just became a full-on believer of UFO stuff. I'm like, okay, this shit I can't dismiss it. It's 100%, it's happening. And I'll send you this video I saw of like these lights that showed up over the Amazon while these shamans were doing DMT rituals.
Oh
It's
shit.
crazy, dude. Yeah, I'm following these dudes in Brazil and I got to translate everything they say, but it's pretty fun. So anyway, I went to this pizza shop on Pi Day, and Pi Day it's free, right? And I met
Yeah.
this like severely autistic dude in line, and he was bugging out. And like I've worked with special ed people for a good portion of my life, so I saw the behaviors. I'm like, yeah, my man, I'm gonna talk to you and chill you out and hang out for a minute. Let's talk. And boy, did he have an interesting set of beliefs. Said he did the whole Eddie Bravo thing. He was like, man, they're loosh harvesting. The pedophile government is actually reptiles. And like, there's this black dude in line behind me, and I asked him, "Would you want to take a seat with me and we can just talk and hang out?" Because like I was almost radicalized by the internet once. I don't, I
Yeah.
see people like that in public. I'm like, man, let me talk to you about this shit. So he said, "What are you a spook or something?" I'm like, "You," and I immediately was like, "Oh, you mean a Fed?
Yeah.
No." And you should watch that word.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just like, no, I'm white. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Like, everyone looks at me like, yeah. Like,
He's like,
all the workers were ethnic.
you're like,
Some
please calm down, sir. I pay my taxes.
put a clan hood on him and shit. And a napkin out. No, but it was like, yeah, you're constantly on the edge of sanity when you're trying to know the truth.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it is crazy because like you'll go down a conspiracy rabbit hole and you're like, a lot of this makes sense. Then they'll throw like a curveball in it and you're like, oh fuck, this might all be complete bullshit.
I only believe stuff up to 90%. Because,
Yeah.
or even then, 80%, 70%, depends on the topic. But I always know there's a degree to which I don't know. I think I know, you know.
Yeah, and like that's another thing where especially like when it comes to like either like religion stuff or like whatever where it's like people who are like so dead set on like this thing is absolutely not true. Like there's absolutely no way that is a possibility, even though they've never gone to school for science. They've never like studied anything having to do with like the creation of life from like a scientific basis whatsoever. They're like, no, dead set, there's no fucking way that this is possible.
It's like, how do they call it, a theory of evolution? Because there's holes in it,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
right? So where are the parts that fit in? And like aliens explain a lot of it, I think. My personal belief, they helped us to evolve and gave us culture and stuff.
That would be interesting. And like I remember I don't remember what the specific theory is called, but there's a theory where they say that like the Garden of Eden from Genesis is supposed to be like a mothership.
That kind of makes sense. It's been in anime a couple times. I've seen anime like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, it's an interesting concept. So and then like they say that like the mothership planted people. Like basically they were like, we're gonna throw a bunch of Asians over here, and we're gonna throw a bunch of whites over here, and a bunch of Jews over here, and yeah.
It's like that South Park episode,
Yeah, yeah,
reality
yeah.
TV.
Exactly.
Like that. There's a try. You ever watch Trigun?
I've watched like the first 2 episodes, I think.
So the OG one is much different from the new one. The new one has that concept in it. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about giving it another go because I'm like I love Cowboy Bebop, and like I've seen so much like cross fandom.
Yeah, same vibes, majorly.
Yeah, yeah.
I watched the live action Cowboy Bebop last night. It was not bad.
It wasn't bad.
No, I was like, wow, man, people really overreacted.
Well, when I was what I didn't like when I saw the set or the character photos, that's like really all I've seen from the show. Like I think I saw a trailer actually, but like they showed who's the main actor, John Cho?
Yes.
Yeah, like they showed him as Spike, and I was like, he just looks like Asian Don Knotts.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Why are we doing this? But anyway, man, I think I gotta head out. I gotta take a shower. I got a podcast at 6.
No doubt, man. Be well.
All right, you too, man. I'll go ahead. I'll send you the audio and shit.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, bye.